In 1624, 23-year-old King Louis XIII of France was in trouble. He was losing his hair. What would people say at a time when a king's hair had come to stand for his power and nobility? Louis did not want to find out. Instead, he made a choice that started a 150-year fashion craze. He wore an especially full wig. Long before Louis, people used wigs for many reasons, including cleanliness, theater, and trying to look younger. Wigs date back at least to ancient Egypt, where respected hairdressers made them in detailed styles. And under some ancient Roman dynasties, women's wigs became especially fancy, with one poet making fun of their many layers. During the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church discouraged wearing wigs, stressing instead humility and simplicity. So, those who did wear wigs in medieval Western Europe generally chose more natural-looking styles. But as rules relaxed in the 1500s, wigs became more accepted accessories. Queen Elizabeth I of England owned more than 80 red wigs, which she used to add to her hair and hide it as it grew thinner and grayer. One of these wigs even decorated her funeral figure. Yet it was not until Louis XIII showed off his magnificent hair a couple of decades later that big wigs truly began to boom. Members of Louis's court, perhaps eager to win favor, put on wigs themselves, and aristocrats elsewhere soon did the same. The fast-growing popularity of wigs may have been made stronger by worries about hair loss caused by mercury, which doctors at the time prescribed to treat syphilis and other illnesses. But people also praised wigs as convenient, since they removed the need for daily hair cleaning and styling. In the mid-1600s, the trend grew stronger under Louis XIII's son, Louis XIV. At the time, Europe took its fashion ideas from Madrid. But Louis XIV's government changed that by investing heavily in France's luxury industry. They created special guilds, made seasonal releases official, enforced a dress code at court, and banned imports that could have been made in France or its colonies. Louis XIV once even ordered his son, yet another Louis, to burn his coat because it was made of foreign cloth. Helped by its growing colonial empire, France gathered wealth and influence, and Parisian-style big wigs soon sat on top of many European heads. These full-bottom men's wigs needed such thick, long hair that hair from 10 heads could go into just one. Within a century, the number of Parisian wig makers became 4 times larger. Even small villages often had at least one wig maker. They generally made their goods from human hair, probably taken from poor women, or from cheaper materials like wool or horsehair. To clean their wigs, get rid of odors, and absorb sweat, people covered them in perfumed powders of flour, chalk, and scented things like violet, rose, clove, and lemon. It was a messy business, with whole rooms set aside for the task. In fact, that is where the term powder room is thought to have come from. By the mid-1700s, men's wigs stayed popular but became simpler, often styled with curls around the face and a ponytail in back. Women's wigs, however, rose to new heights, literally reaching up to a meter. Wig makers often built these using rods, ribbons, and wool stuffing. And once covered with hair, the wig could be decorated with all kinds of accessories. Lighter-colored wigs became fashionable and were only improved with powders, sometimes tinted purple, pink, or blue. But not everyone liked the trend. Cartoon artists mocked big wig wearers, showing them as silly and showy. And the hotter temperatures in some of Europe's colonies may have made heavy powdered wigs a bother. In 1740, a visitor in Maryland noticed that so few people wore wigs. He said, "You would imagine they were all sick or going to bed." In the late 1700s, a popular backlash against aristocratic luxury gained steam. As France faced a bread shortage, flour-powdered wigs were seen as especially problematic. And in 1789, the French Revolution began. In 1795, England's Parliament passed a powder tax that led many to give up their big wigs. And so they fell out of fashion, left high and powder dry, like mere relics of a harebrained past craze.